to Sporting Jibberish. I'm Jibberish.
I'm Jack Luffman.
Congratulations on the retirement, Jack.
I know, I took early retirement last week.
Retirement from the podcast?
No, not from the podcast, from work.
Oh.
Never retired from this, mate. Did you want me to go? Oh, you got a new partner?
Right, moving swiftly on.
You know where you're not wanted?
Yeah, good to have you, Jack. Well, I'm so relieved that you just said that. I thought we were in dire straits then.
Although I did notice that, like, the happy retirement for your mother-in-law, you went all funky and no werewolves.
I'm also just going to point out, this is not a dead body under here. This is just our studio is a makeshift bedroom and everything's just been kind of thrown together. Anyway, on to today's show. Nobody's retiring, thankfully, not for the podcast anyway. Mother-in-law is, who's currently here, and you've got visitors too.
Yeah, brother, sister-in-law, Rory.
Rory the Mex King, as he's known.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. He thanks you. He took it all on you, apparently.
What was it?
Because it made it easy.
All right. Well,
After his little tantrum.
Well, don't talk about that. Right, on today's show, when we cover the Premier League, we'll be talking a bit about the cricket final from last week, Grand National, which is tomorrow. And if I'm wriggling around a lot, it's because I've got a trapped nerve in my shoulder, and I'm in absolute agony.
Still struggling.
But we'll start with our sporting week. Nothing really on the horizon. Oh no, you've got a midweek's game.
Yeah, we played the first game in the Ramadan Cup not last night, Wednesday evening. JMR Ramadan Cup against, I don't even know, Excel, some corporate team, and won. So
good.
Was in the end, yeah. They got 150 something, which looked like it was going to be more after they had a proper gun. You're always going to be worried when the guy opens the batting and doesn't have the same kit as the rest of them. One of our lads knew who he was, and he started off like a house on fire. I think he ended up with 19 off 8 balls before we got him out, and then so he looked dangerous. But they ended up on 58, something like that, was probably, I don't know, very much below par on that pitch, but we'd probably been disappointed not for them to get that many. And then we were about 40 for 3, and then got on for 3. Right. So Clint and Power did some damage.
What about you?
Just 12. I was a little bit unfortunate with a ball that skewed along the deck, let's say. Not a great shot, I admit, but a little bit unlucky, but hey ho. Okay. But Clint and Bower were in fine form. In fact, Clint hit one and Rory came to watch. Hit one massive, and he just went, well, that's 8.
8?
It went miles, and then the winning shot went absolutely, went into the desert. So
awesome.
All good. Any football?
No, we were supposed to play it on Thursday. Thankfully, we didn't have a game. So we are playing the Turks next week, which has been, they've rejigged all the fixtures. So the Turks, I think we were supposed to go on about the last 3 games. But yeah, we drew 2-2 with them last week. It'll be a hard game, physical, a little bit. A bit catchy, touchy at times and a bit nasty off the ball. So looking forward to it.
Provided
the shoulder's alright. I just don't know what I've done. I was at the gym lifting some heavy weights. Yeah. I've done something in my shoulder here. Honestly, I'm sitting down now and the pain, it's just like a throbbing pain, and it just builds, it just gets worse and worse. So that's why all the way through this I'll be doing this a lot, because that seems to be like a relief point.
I went to the safari park and saw some gorillas. It looks a bit like that.
Yeah, probably similar. That's because we both lift heavy weights.
Yeah, what Fridge's back treatment didn't work Monday night?
No, well, that's a story on its own. I had Fridge try and pop my back, and then Larko, who's another gorilla, trying to push me into a beanbag, which nearly broke my back as well. But nobody was able to release the pressure.
Thomas said a few pops went there when he.
Yeah, well, he popped the lower part of my back, which really needed to be top. But yeah, so spotty training Monday if I can make it, and then game Thursday. I'll be alright. I'll be there.
You'll be there.
So yeah, physio yesterday, and I've got physio again tomorrow. So hopefully he can just needs something.
Does he think a trapped nerve?
Yeah, so it's just something in there that just needs releasing. It's like everything's all kind of tangled up, and just a note at some point you're just gonna go.
When it goes, yeah.
It's gonna touch it, and it's gonna be hard, and it's gonna be horrible. But then after that, the release will just be pressure release. So look forward to that. But yeah, big game against the Turks, which they've got a very naughty goalkeeper.
Oh, that's
says
the
not
one.
very nice things to people. So.
Did he play for Exile, does he?
Could well be. But yeah,
There we go.
so we shall look forward to that one. But anyway, We'll go back to Premier League. So last week's results. Saw Liverpool go top for a grand total. I think they worked in at about 40 minutes. So from the point Liverpool game finished to the point where City went 1-0 up against Burnley, it was around about 40 minutes. But good to see a change at the top. Which bodes very well for this weekend. Which this Sunday, Masters Final Grand Prix, City Liverpool. Why would you need to go out? You just need to find a TV, don't you? Because you just don't need to do anything other than watch sport that day. But yeah, Liverpool won 2-0 against Watford. Watford are not a bad team, you know, they caused a few issues and problems at times, but I think the difference is obviously clinical. Liverpool scored their chance, and then they got a penalty towards the end of the rugby tackle. And Watford had a chance, but weren't able to put it away, so probably shows the difference between the top end of the Premiership and the lower end.
That rugby tackle penalty, right? I've heard some people and some pundits going, it was because they didn't appeal for it, but what's utter rubbish. That stuff happens all the time, and in my opinion, should be pulled up all the time. I think that not the controversy is the wrong word, it's the fact that all of a sudden one's given. That's, I think, what Roy Hodgson, actually, if you listen to what Roy Hodgson says, he doesn't debate that it's not a foul, but why all of a sudden is one given? It should always be given. Because you can't. He's not even looking at the ball. He's in low. He's wrapped round. Well, they say it's rugby tackle. In rugby, it would be a foul because it's off the ball. Good result for Liverpool. Other results that day: Brighton 0, Norwich 0. Didn't really do anybody any favours. That result probably wasn't the best viewing. Maupay missed the penalty. Terrible. There's one over miles over the bar. Mentioned City 2, Burnley 0. I think City got an early goal, which kind of just left Burnley just milling around, not knowing what to do. I watched it and Burnley were absolutely dreadful. Like, you don't ever expect them to, they're not going to match City for football, let's be honest, but you'd always think that they're going to get up and at them and be a bit nasty maybe, put a cat amongst the pigeons, but they just didn't do anything. Now, whether that early goal or the two fairly early goals, they decide, you know what, we'll conserve ourselves for...
Well, you could be thinking goal difference, couldn't you, then?
Yeah, conserve ourselves for Tuesday night. That eventually paid off for them, I guess, I don't know, but Burnley were woeful and City just did a job.
And then result of the day, Chelsea 1, Brentford 4. Very much a game where Brentford were holding on, keeping it tight as possible till half time. Then after half time to go 1-0 down after defending so well must have been a bit of a kick in the gangoolies. And then nobody in the world would have expected then to go and concede 4 goals with such a tight defence they've had all season. But are things off the pitch slightly now starting to creep into the change rooms and affecting the actual management and the players in the club?
It's a question that has been asked, and you'd have to say it's got a little bit, and I'm not just talking about the ownership side.
Well, I'd say before we go into that, is if it had been a one-off result and that 4-1 result was a one-off and then they kicked back and beat Real Madrid or play well against Real Madrid. But then to concede 7 in 2 games is not like Chelsea.
And they've not been on a great one either, let's be honest. I just think clearly there's got to be something awry, but I think there's so much stuff. I think Lukaku, how can he not be starting Lukaku? Something's gone wrong there.
It's a heavy miss.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't. At the beginning of the season, we both sat here and thought they were probably the team to beat because of the sign of Lukaku.
Yeah.
I know he got injured. I know when he probably first come back, but he wasn't great. But to not be playing him is ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's obviously stuff off the field. The whole big ownership thing's probably having more issues because they're having to pay for their own travel, aren't they?
Yeah.
Apparently, not that it's going to dent a hole in anybody's pocket. 50 quid for
the bus. So you should have game, man.
Yeah, but and then the other things, I think that Christensen is out of contract as a centre half, and Rudiger is. But the flip side of that is, I've not been a huge fan of Rudiger. I think he's got, I've said this before, and I've said on this podcast, I think he's got away with a lot this season, where there's been this big narrative about how great he is, got away with a lot of cynical fans. I'm not saying that not professional, but got away with a hell of a lot. And all of a sudden, I think now it's been not pulled up, but bye Eddie, bye Julian. Not
That's
been
family outing.
Not been pulled up per se, but being found out a little bit.
Well, talking about people that have got a narrative around them and get away with things, Aaron Crespo. The guy should have got sent off against Liverpool for a nasty tackle. Should have got sent off against Everton, and finally got his comeuppance last night against Leon,
Yeah.
which from all accounts is a little bit.
Yeah,
It could have been.
I've not seen it, so
I haven't seen it. I just know that
I've
Moyes kicked off massively about it and then getting a yellow card himself. But
you're right. The one at Everton the weekend, I don't.
he doesn't even kick the ball.
That for me is more dangerous than one of the over-the-top tackles that sometimes
He
happen.
could have kicked him in the face.
You know, yeah.
But yeah, to even not even get reviewed, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But right, so we'll put Chelsea to the side. Chelsea in a world of trouble. They now need to be worried about the fact they could quite easily fall out of top four.
Because I'm about to say the same, that if actually the form continues with Arsenal and Spurs and their form continues, I don't think they will, but they certainly could give up third place.
Yeah, which would be a bit of a shame considering the start they made. Leeds 1, Southampton 1. We did say this was a hard weekend to predict the scores and the fixtures. Really, I don't know, nothing point for either team, not really playing for much now.
I think they're both safe now.
Villa then went to Wolverhampton Wanderers and lost 2-1, and again another game which was very hard to predict, but Wolves again just picking up another 3 points.
Again, you talk about, we do talk a lot about narratives. I think I mentioned last week about the one about how great job Vieira's doing, but actually in comparison to what he was this time last year, Hodgson actually won more games. Now I know he retired, so it wasn't a sacking, and I think he has done a great job Vieira because he didn't have any players, and he's changed the manner in which they play. So there was a narrative earlier in the year that the Wolves man, was no good. All of a sudden quietly come up on the rails and easily going to finish probably 6th or 7th, maybe 8th, but good. And the other one, about your man Stevie G, that I was reading again, that actually, other than his start, he's not done magnificently well at Villa, in the fact that I think the last 2 performances, home to Arsenal and that one, just not the kind of performance that you'd expect from a Gerrard team.
And I think again when we're talking about the teams, as you talk about Villa there that lost their mainstay man and their Grealish, and then replacements, there was some ropey buys, wasn't there? And Gerrard, when he came in, has actually brought in a couple of solid players. With Digne being one, Coutinho being another.
I think he's a good player.
And then United, the look of VAR, end up drawing the goal, game 1-0. If you watch that foul by Niacho in normal speed, it doesn't look like a foul. It just looks like he slipped.
Yeah.
But there's one angle from VAR that's so conclusive, which Dorothy Cap, VAR, you've got it spot on. That's exactly what we're there for, to see these little things that referees don't see. I remember Richard Keys saying something about, I don't think it's an obvious error. Well, it is an obvious error because he's not seen it, and it is a foul. So that to me is an obvious error.
I think actually what I read somewhere and then watched it, that Brendan Rodgers wasn't actually arguing against that foul. He was arguing against the fact there was another phase or stage of play from there, and I'm not.
No, if he doesn't have his leg hooked, he then doesn't have the ball, and then the ball then doesn't break.
I think the biggest issue is the Scott to not. How's he staying on the football pitch?
And you look at some of the tackles that have happened at the weekend, like yellow cards, and his is supposedly a yellow card. Frightening.
Ridiculous.
And then we mentioned briefly West Ham 2, Everton 1. Everton pop average.
They were alright until they scored the goal, weren't they? And then
unfortunately, they just can't defend for Toffee.
Really? There it is.
But silly sending off, 2 yellow cards. Didn't need to go and make that tackle. But leading into the build-up, Turton players tackled each other. That's what led to the ball breaking to West Ham, then into Antonio, and then King trips him up.
And I've not seen the goals from last night or the night before, the Burnley game. Was it not a comedy of errors for 2 of the 3 goals?
I haven't seen any of them. No.
Similar, I think somebody's miskicked one. I mean, don't matter who's managing you. If your footballer can't kick a ball into touch or they start tackling each other, don't matter who's in charge.
Well, it happened to United, didn't it, against Leicester, where Rashford thought he was going through. Elanga tackles him, and Fernandinho's asking for a penalty. He's an absolute rat, that guy.
Fernandez, not Fernandinho.
Fernandez, he's a rat. Just asking for anything, just whinges about everything. Whinging saying that Rashford had been fouled and it was Elanga.
Took his own player out.
And then we actually spoke, didn't we? Because you were out because Tom had just arrived. Is Spurs 5, Newcastle 1. And at half time, Newcastle very much in the game and were playing really well. And it went in 1-1 at half time. And then second half, just
well, just
defenders when decided to go score goals.
Oh, yeah. 3 defenders. I did see Davis's comment. He said they were giving the goals away today, which is a bit like, I don't think he meant it disrespectfully.
His header was a decent one.
It was a good header, yeah. But no, well, great result for us, because not only was it 3 points, but like we said, probably at half time looked in the balance. It was 3 points to the goal difference, and then with Monday night's result, the swing was brilliant.
Yeah, well, Monday night's result, Palace 3, Arsenal 0. I only saw the second half where Arsenal changed the formation, tried to press a little bit, but just could not get the ball down. Palace played really well, and then Odegaard makes a silly tackle, a challenge on Zaha, brings down for penalty, 3-0 game over. But Arsenal pretty much changed the full shape of the team for the second half. Still just didn't cause any problems.
Yeah, they had, me and Tom actually watched it often. They had a couple of chances, like, did Saka miss kick one?
Saka hit one, Odegaard should have hit the target with his when they pulled back.
But other than that, they didn't really
just puffed and puffed a lot. Like nicely across the back line, into midfield, then wide, but then never really got to the third. I do think
that we said it all along, well, I'm obviously hoping not. You do sense that their lack of squad depth, because Jack ended up playing it in midfield, then at left back, then at left centre half, and
at one point looked like a left wing back.
Yeah, so they're gonna. I'm hoping they're gonna struggle.
Yeah,
it's still in their hands, to be fair, though.
Yeah, and then the other game was Burnley 3, Everton 2, which we did say beforehand. Everton's away form is terrible, and we could see them not picking up points. Everton, I keep saying it week in, week out. Next 4 fixtures: United at home, Leicester at home, Liverpool away, Chelsea at home.
Horrific.
They could go the next 4 games without picking up a point.
Do you know what I think, though? And I was looking at this table after this game Wednesday night, and despite that, I agree with you, I think they're going to hold on, because for 2 reasons. One, they're going to pick up a weird result somewhere, and I think the sides below them are that bad
that they won't get the points.
Yeah, I think more to the point, I think the sides below them, because Norwich have gone, Watford pretty much gone, and Burnley I think are poor.
Yeah,
I just think that they're going to have enough to survive by the skin of the teeth or a toffee wrapper.
Really? Right, well, this week's fixtures. Get your teams in Jacks tonight. Need to do this tonight. Newcastle play Wolves tonight.
Got a few injuries.
You won't see this till tomorrow, so it'll be too late. Yeah. Everton versus Man U, which is the early kick-off. We're at brunch together, so we'll see if we can find a screen for that. Sneak off. Arsenal, Brighton, 3 o'clock. Southampton, Chelsea, 3 o'clock. Watford, Leeds, 3 o'clock. Then the evening game at Villa versus Spurs. It's not a give me, is it?
No, it's not. It's not a give me. You fancy Villa to have a reaction at home under the lights Saturday evening.
Yeah. And then Sunday's games: Brentford, West Ham, Leicester, Crystal Palace, and Norwich, Burnley, all at the 2 o'clocks at home. And then the evening game, which are the afternoon game for you guys, is City, Liverpool, which is the first of 2 fixtures in a week. We play them this week in the league and then next week in the FA Cup, with the return fixture of Benfica in between.
Huge week, yeah.
Go on, Jack. Predictions: City versus Liverpool at Etihad. What's the score?
Liverpool 2-1.
Ooh.
I fancy. I've said this. I think Klopp's got to play well, and I think Man City are huffing and puffing a little bit. I don't quite know it. Yeah, I just think they're huffing and puffing a bit, and I said before, I think the lack of striker is going to cost them. He's got so many of those. They're all talented players. Those, but they're all like number 10s or wide forwards, whatever you want to call it. I don't think he still quite knows his best. At the minute, he knows his best combination, because I think some of them are a little bit off form, aren't they? Like Bernardo Silva, who was class 1 up until 6-8 weeks ago. I just think that and Klopp hasn't got anything to lose, so he will go at it. He will play all his big boys. If they're all fit and well, he will go at them. He'll go at them hard. I
think for the first ever time is City will look at that front 3 of Liverpool's and they won't know which one it's going to be.
Yeah,
it's been very predictable, hasn't it? It's always been Bob's, Salah, Mane.
Yeah,
but now you've got Jota's on fire. Diaz has hit the ground running.
Surely he plays Diaz and Salah. It's one of the other, one from the other 3. Surely.
Jota's got such good goal scoring form at the moment.
I
think it might be Diaz misses out. I think it might be Jota, Mane, Salah.
Go with his Trident.
Just because I think Jota's got a goal in him.
Yeah, no, I'd probably play him.
And I think Mane doesn't play as well through the middle.
No,
I think Jota's.
I would play Diaz, Salah, and Jota. That's who I'd play.
Okay, I think he'll go with Mane. But yeah.
What a decision to make.
Yes, what a great decision to make. Right, okay, World Cup, Women's World Cup. So we had, actually, I'm going to throw this question out while we're talking football. So they've recently announced about the change in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Okay, that they're going to give potentially 2 positions to teams that have previously done well in the Champions League if they've not qualified. What's your thought
I
process
think
on
it's
that?
absolutely ridiculous.
Why?
Because it should be a champion. I don't really agree with the fact it's got, and I know it's benefited my side 3 or 4 years ago, whatever it was. I don't agree with the fact that there's that many in it anyway. I understand from a commercial point of view that it's got to be more than like the old European Cup when it was just the winners. I get that. So what if you have history? That's like saying, do you know what, Man United in the Premier League, you've won it however many times, we're going to give you 8 points start every year. What's a rubbish?
It's not 8 points side, it just means they're going to go in the Champions League even if they don't qualify.
Yeah, I think it's rubbish. I don't agree with it at all.
See, I think it's not a bad idea. If you're a lesser team that's going into the group stages and you're full of teams that are lesser teams, your attendance is not going to be good, the revenue's not going to be as good, there's not going to be as many people watching it, therefore it's going to affect the money because, let's be honest, like teams like Benfica are never going to win Champions League. They've never been past the quarterfinals in 8 or 9 years. So for them, just to qualify out of the group is a major achievement. They're in it just to make a little bit of revenue for their club, which brings in loads of money. If you suddenly say that Benfica are in a group with Grasshoppers, say Lazio, who are just a mid-market Italian team, and let's say Valencia, that's not an exciting group, is it? You take out Valencia and replace them with Barcelona that might not qualify. Suddenly, that's just a big name, and that's where the Champions League is. It's about big names.
But that's the point, isn't it? That's why I think it's too big as it is. Because if going on what you were saying, and I agree with you, Benfica Grasshoppers, or if you're in a group, it's not particularly enticing. But that's the whole point, isn't it? That the fact that we're getting second, people finishing second in the finish league, you're not getting qualified. Ridiculous.
Yeah, but they're not going to change that. But it's just a case of, I think that somebody could have an off season. Like Barcelona couldn't go through transition.
Well, that's why
they managed to turn it around. It's happening because of the Super League.
Exactly, because that's what you get. It's happening because of the Super League. It's because Barcelona, Real Madrid, big players are going through transition, and particularly Barcelona, there's no guarantee that they're going to get Champions League football. No, I think it's rubbish.
Well, let us know what your thoughts are. Right, women's cricket. So Aussies went into. They put them in. Did they put them into that?
So England won the toss.
There's still debate whether it was a good thing or a bad thing, wasn't it? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there, is there?
I just think it was a negative thing. I think from the game, it's flat. The wicket is going to be flat. Me and Tom I just think it was a negative thing. I think in a cup final, get some runs on the board, and even if it's not a great score, you think it's below what you need to be, you've got to get them. Yeah. I just think it's a bit negative. And look, I can kind of understand it to a degree because Australia have been the standout side. And let's be honest, England they hit a bit of form, but yes, they won. They lost first day and won the next 4 or 5, whatever it was. But they certainly weren't as convincing or dominant as they've been previously. I think they're at an end of the cycle with some of the players, which happens. But yeah,
they're transferring to rugby, aren't
they? That's what you reckon. You won't want to meet old Anya and Catherine on a dark alley, would you?
I'm sure one of them's kicked me out of a pub before.
Yeah, probably. But they're 2 of the ones I think are coming to the end of the cycle. So, but they got. I know I think the difficult thing is a Paul in the field, the ball badly, dropped too many catches, and then chasing that score. But I mean,
What to score?
Yeah, 350 odd, and Healy with 170. But then England, do you know what? The weird thing was we caught the end of it when I picked Tom and that off there, but caught the end of it, and I think we were 7 or 8 down. But I said, if it's there at the end, we've got half a chance.
Yeah, she just didn't have anybody with her.
And what's disappointing is that Shrubsbury was the last woman out.
That was a soft wicket to go away.
And she came back, she won the semi-final. I just, if that was like the difficult thing was they only had 1 wicket left, and they were still having to go I think it was 8 or 10, which is a lot. So you can't always do that with just one person. I just thought it was a bit too early in that situation, like with 8 overs. If that was
Trying
like
to
with
start,
4
yeah.
overs to go, do you know what? I get it, because we've got to get 12 and over. You've got to get runs as well as me. I just thought it was a bit, but maybe, you know, it's difficult, isn't it, in the pressure of a final. But I think it's come. Australia were undoubtedly the standout team at the tournament. They've got every base covered there. They're a proper outfit. England certainly need to start rebuilding now. I think, you know, some of the old ones. I would potentially think that Knight maybe just needs to stop captain and concentrate on batting and build again for what will be their T20 and 50 overs. But fair play, you know, like we said before, it's better getting to a final and losing a semi.
Which the guys are doing at the moment anyway.
Correct.
But right, okay, so the Masters is on at the moment.
Yeah.
So Tiger Woods had a decent first round.
Yeah, interesting.
1 under.
Yeah, I watched some of it last night.
McIlroy's not too far off.
Yeah,
as well.
evens, I think.
I just try to think. Who's the big? Who's the one that's with the tennis player? Is it a tennis player? Is she a singer? Who's the big American lad? Really tall.
Dustin Johnson.
Dustin Johnson.
Yeah,
Who's
he's class. I don't know who
he started. He started.
He's a good player, yeah.
He started.
He is cool.
Along with, is it Japanese or Chinese?
Charlie Japanese at top, and Smith, the Aussie, who won the Players' Championship. He's up there as well.
So after the first day, we don't know how they've got on the second day at the moment, because they would be playing right now, won't they?
Maybe just started some of them,
So who's your tips for?
Well,
would you look past Dustin because he's in a good position?
I think Dustin would be in a good position. I don't know about the weather or anything that's gone on today. Larks has actually did a little bit of a thing where and I think there's 4 or 5 in it, where pick 4 golfers from odds checker have to add up to 200 to 1.
Okay.
And then obviously for under D's in, and then the less one will win it. So my 4 were Matsuyama last year's winner because he's in good form.
Yeah.
Bubba Watson. Tony Finau, who's going okay, and who was the heck was the other one? Somebody else anyway. But I'm actually leading jointly with Larks after day 1, which was good.
Thanks for doing back Larks. Cheers.
I'm just trying to think. Who was my other one? Oh, Victor Hovland.
Who's in the group?
There's no group. It's just these are the 4.
Oh no, who's the other people?
Oh, Larks, Matty, Fox, and me. That's on my list.
Oh, the golfing group.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so I don't know. I think Dustin Johnson's in a good position. Good to see Tiger back. Like I said, I was watching it last night. Like, people were umming and ahhing. I was like, oh, he's going to pull out because he had 2 bad holes at one. So there's no way he started that championship. 1, if he can't get through at least 2 rounds, and 2, if he doesn't think he can actually probably win it.
Had some great shots though.
So interesting. And look, if he just go a bit peaked on today and he misses the cut, so be it. But it's good to see him back.
So who are you picking now to win it?
Good Dustin Johnson.
Dustin. Okay. Yeah. Right, we've heard it here first. Dustin, get your money on. Do not put money on.
Yeah, do not put
money on. Right, okay,
No,
another thing that you might want to bet on the weekend, which is an absolute shambles for anybody that's into horses. This is the worst day for betting without a shadow, because it is literally, it has got better probably in the last 10 years, but it is a bit of a lottery.
Yeah, it used to be like, when they used to have, did they used to have like 50 or so?
Oh, stupid. The fences were so high, people had deck it and all sorts. But yeah, it is the Grand National on Saturday. So a quick rundown of your top horses if you were to put a bet on. Snow Leopardess is a really good horse. It's number 31, wearing the blues with a black cap. Jockey's Eden Coleman. Very good horse to have a look at there. Minella Times, it's been around a fair bit. So Rachel Blackmore on, who won it last year.
Can she go back to back?
Can she? That is a big ask.
Do you know what? That would be some bet if she comes and come Gold Cup winner as well.
And I think one of this horse, it's a Walsh horse. It's got Walsh on it and Walsh owner. Any second now is one of mine. I was thinking will do well, along with Delta Work. Is another good horse, but apart from that, I would just go with them. Would be my top picks for the horses. There are some.
Saying that, go with one that a nice name. Your favourite number or favourite colours?
Fiddler on the Roof is a great one. One related for you, Jack. Schoolboy Hours.
Yeah, like that.
And if Bobby, it looks like he's going to start. You could go Good Boy Bobby.
Good Boy Bobby.
And then there's just some random ones.
What's number 19?
Take Derasha County. That's something you've had before, isn't it? Or as Harry would like to be called, Mighty Thunder.
Oh, really? Get on board, H.
Yeah, there's no Punisher in there, is there? Annie Bale Fly. We could go with that
That's
one.
one. That'll go on that
Oh, Roy Mage. That's a class. We're going to get to Rory.
one. Yeah.
A really nice one there. Baramable.
There we go.
It's currently only 80 to 1, so
I know, look, I'll have a bet
well
somewhere.
within a chance there.
Somehow get on there. Tell you what was a good bet. Interesting. This for those bettors out there. You and I were having a bit of a discussion about who we thought might win the World Cup.
Alright, okay.
Can you remember
Yes.
the discussion?
Yes.
And we were a bit.
People say there's no standout team, but I think there are two standout teams.
So I don't think it's a standout team. My heart would love to see England win it. I think Germany would always be up and thereabouts. You were talking Belgium, and then you said France.
Yeah, I've settled with France. I think that you can't look past Belgium's team. Yes, they've not got the big game experience of winning a tournament, but then neither did Portugal before they started their winning runs, and then the same with Spain when they went into their element of winning things, and the same with France.
There's got to be a start. And to not win anything, the same degree with England. Nobody looked at that, did they?
Yeah.
Before 2018. So we're with France anyway. And then, what was it? My brother said he fancies France for the next Rugby World Cup. So what odds would you get for a double? France World Cup, Qatar 2022, France in the Rugby World Cup 2023.
Did you look for it?
Not look for it, yeah.
No. Okay, let's have a look at
What
that.
do you reckon? So it'd be good. It's a good little bet that.
I think you get decent odds as well. I think you're probably looking maybe tens if not higher.
Yeah, I think you'd want either. The only thing is that the Rugby World Cup is less teams, so slightly easier to win, arguably. But
Well, we shall have a look.
see how things transpire.
Right.
See what goes on, yeah.
Right, so exciting times with the league this week.
Can't see.
So if you've got so many points, you've actually got to buy through the cup. I didn't. I had a dreadful week, but you had a good week, Jack.
Yes, I did.
Um,
Got myself.
84 points, was it?
It was decent. That's 74, I think.
No, 83 points.
83.
83 points. I got 70. But there's actually two people who got 85 points. So what I'm going to say is, whoever claims it first, Daryl Sims from The Money Wanderers, or Tony Montana, who also got 85 points. Whoever claims it first gets a prize. Just as easy as that.
Easy as that.
The cup draw, however, has seen me placed against Boom Shakalaka, which is a bad draw because this you've got to buy, mate. I've already had a look.
Have you?
You've had to buy. Boom Shakalaka, who's actually 3 places above me in the league. So even though we are in the top 15 teams, I've ended up drawing at the top of the table.
Oh,
So there's a big one going on here.
One bad week can cost everything.
Yeah. So guys, have a look on your fancy football.
I need to do that right now.
It will show who you've got. If you had a good week last week, you've probably got to buy into the next round. So congratulations. If not, fingers crossed. Mike Tetley has a stinker and I go through.
If
That's
not, have a happy retirement.
Yes.
At the end of the day, Stu.
What do we know?